Hey guys, Harrison back at it once again for a brand new video for you, and welcome to episode 8 of our MotoGP career mode Let's Play on MotoGP 14. Last time you left us, Valentino Rossi gave me a call and said, Dre, would you like to ride for my team? I know you're not Italian, but I think you may like it. Because Valentino called, I decided to say yes, and here I am. Also, thanks to everyone in the comments made their suggestions. I decided to go with the yellow like you guys said. For some reason, I can't change the knee pads. I think those just come with it, I think, actually. Yeah, that's a bit annoying. But besides that, I'm going to be in yellow. I kept the number yellow as well, so there's still a bit of the Jamaican theme going on there. As well as just in general, I thought it was quite a nice fit anyway, because there's a bit of yellow in the VR46 livery as well. Also, I want to say before I get started, apologies for the last 2 episodes were a little bit bad in terms of volume. I'm still trying to figure out what's the best volume to record this game at. Sometimes it's too quiet, sometimes it's too loud, so I'm still trying to work my way through that. Hope you guys appreciate it anyway, and apologies for any inconvenience. Right, next time up, we are going to Aragon next up. This debuted on the calendar last year, in 2013, I think it was. Or was it 2012? I'm not sure. Whatever. Sorry if it's a bit loud. There's still buses coming out my bedroom's window, which is a bit irritating as well. If you hear it in the background, I'm sorry. But, yeah. If you miss a championship situation, I am in 4th place on 155 points. I think I'm about 3 points behind Jakob Cornfile, I think, actually. Yeah, 9 behind Cornfile. That's going to be the best I'm going to get. It's almost mathematically impossible for me to win the World Championship now. But at least I can try and get into 3rd and get some decent points that way. Here's hoping. So, without further ado, also I'm going to turn the number of rewinds back up, actually, because that's a little bit... My phone goes off in the background, God. My partner's texting me. One of my friends is texting me as well. It's a bit irritating. But yeah, basically, that's the plan. Hopefully, the whole aim now is to get fans, because you get fans based on offers. Also, it should be the other way around. You get offers based on the amount of fans you get. When your reputation goes up, that's when certain teams come knocking. It's just not quite as obvious as in MotoGP 13, where they explicitly said you need to be reputation before they start considering you, or etc, etc. So the aim is now just to get as good a Moto2 team as possible for next year. I could stick around and go after the Moto3 Championship properly if you really wanted me to, but I think you want to see me move up and see me try out the better bikes. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about the Sachsenring in Germany. We had the German Grand Prix last week, and yeah, I'll be talking about it more in detail in a future Dre TV next week after the German Grand Prix in Formula 1. Yes, an all-German special next week. Hooray! Get your Blastwurst ready, and hold on to your lederhosen. But all 3 races were pretty interesting, and I'll talk more about that during the race itself once we get going. Also, there is a test after Aragon, so there's a chance for us to get more stuff there too, which would be pretty cool. Right, bike development. Let's go with braking, shall we? Because I like being able to brake late into corners and things. But yeah. Like, Moto3 wise, it was Jack Miller who, once again, to be fair, Jack Miller kind of needed a good result, and I'm glad he got one. He narrowly beat out, I think it was Alex Marquez and Danny Kent that was up there as well for a long time. Those guys are in the mix as well for a little bit, but overall, Miller in a straight up, oh god, that went a bit wrong. Yeah, Miller in a straight-up dogfight is one of the best in the field, if not the best in the field. God, hang on, my phone went off again. I hope I'm not confusing you guys with that. There we go. Oh! Hit the wall. Okay, I've never had to use 3 flashbacks on one corner before. 4. That is not pretty. Okay, let's try this one more time. Oh, for God's sake. 5 flashbacks? 5? There we go. But yeah, Miller was good. You know, Marquez was able to keep his decent form going. Nice to see Danny Kent up there again after a mediocre first half of the season. At least he can go into the summer break feeling a little bit better about himself, because that was a nice podium for Danny Kent to get there. Also, shout out as well to John McPhee. Oh God, I'm out of flashbacks now. Let's just restart this race now. I don't normally do this anyway, but this is an exceptional circumstance. Forgive me. Right, as I was saying. Yeah, Marquez was the man in form, like I mentioned before. And then John McPhee, who qualified in 27th place, ended up finishing, I think, in 7th. Made up 20 places during the Grand Prix. A brilliant performance from young John McPhee. Finishing just behind Efren Vasquez, I think it was, in the second group. So, brilliant performance from John McPhee. Nice to see some British talent coming through, as always, and doing well. Shame Sam Lowes didn't really work out in Moto 2 this weekend, because I think that speed-up chassis just isn't particularly strong around there. But overall, just nice stuff from John McPhee. Jack Miller, I think, now leads the championship, I think, by 19 points over Alex Marquez now in second, because Rins crashed on lap 1, and Venati didn't finish either. So, big weekend for Miller and Marquez. They're the big winners. Even Vasquez, who finished in 6th place, he'll take that, given the fact two of his rivals hit the deck. So that's great news for him. In Moto 2, congratulations to Dominique Agata. Brilliant ride from Domi. After 129 races. But people don't realise just how long Agata's been around. Like, Agata debuted in 2006 as a wildcard. I think he was just 16 years old back then, believe it or not. A little bit of an endo there. Nice pass. But yeah, like I said, Agata and Kallio were the class of the field. Kallio was racking up those hot laps for fun back there. So I think I'm just really, really glad that he had such a brilliant performance. Dom is like the new Nakagami. Like last year, everyone was hoping Nakagami would finally break his duck and get that first win, because he was actually part of a race-winning team. The Italtrans team is a good team, a team that was capable of winning. And Nakagami had some brilliant rides when he wanted to. It's just sometimes it just didn't work out for him, and sometimes he would burn his tyres up too much, and it just didn't work. So I'm glad it worked out in his favour in the end. Mika Kallio, you know, that was a good ride from Kallio in second. You know, keeps himself well in the championship hunt. Was clearly better than his teammate Rabat this time around, who, from what I've been told by Julian Ryder, has never finished in Germany in the podium. So his curse continues. He ended up finishing in 4th. Simone Corsi getting the last podium spot in a great fight between him, Tito Rabat, Baldassari, which was a big surprise, and Maverick Vinales, who came up from 13th on the grid to finish in 5th and could have easily had a podium. So yeah, great stuff from Agata. You know, well deserved. He absolutely earned his win. You know, he was very tactical about it. Came through at the waterfall on the last lap, and it was just very Rossi-esque. It was a great performance, and I'm very happy for him. I'm a big Agata fan, and I hope he gets a bump up next season, because he's one of the most consistent riders in the field, and he's gotten better every year in Moto2 since he got there, since its inception, as a matter of fact. So you know, there's a guy that deserves a chance for sure. He's earned it, all right. But now I'm see if I can push higher and see if I can get into the top 5 in this Grand Prix, because it looks like, despite me joining this team, it's a brand new bike. So I've got to catch up in terms of upgrades, because the whole field's developed their bikes so much more than I have. I'm putting my foot down hard now, see if I've got enough room. Well, it was a bit wide. I'm going full Raikkonen there for a minute. Should have put the gearbox down a bit as well. Better on the brakes, mind you. Up into 7th. Yeah, talking about the top class, though. Once again, Marc Marquez. Good lord. 9 of 9. We're going to have to start having that conversation soon about the perfect season. He's already halfway there, and it doesn't look like anyone can beat him apart from himself. You know, he's had a couple of knocks here and there. He had a big crash in free practice 1 that weekend. Landed right on his head. Was luckily perfectly okay in the end, and was back out in no time at all. But yeah, I mean, Marquez looks borderline invincible. It's like, in that race, he was in a full-on deadlock with Pedrosa. And Pedrosa was matching him stride for stride. But the issue with it was that, like, whenever Pedrosa got close enough to think about making a move, Marquez just found a little bit more and a little bit more, and then with like 10 laps to go, he put the hammer down and was like, you know what, I've pulled the pin, here we go. And then just like that, bang, puts out like 3 straight 22-0 fastest laps and wins the Grand Prix. Breaks Pedrosa's will pretty much at that point. Pedrosa just had no answer after that one. Hopefully I can get a nice little toe here and maybe make a move into the last corner. This bike is just not fast in a straight line. Not like the Hondas are. Give Vasquez and Kornfeld a bit of a push. They go the long way around again. Oh god, I didn't know you can get penalised like that now. That didn't happen last time. I was better off the corner, but I'm not going to have enough speed to get him, I think. Ah! 8th. Mediocre. To be fair, I'm not a big fan of Aragon in all fairness, but, not terrible. Still 4th. Oh yeah, I've unlocked the IO bike, hooray. And Max Biaggi, hooray. Just gonna keep getting those fans. Right, we've got a test day coming up in a minute, but yeah, I mean, talk about the rest of MotoGP for a minute. We all know Marquez is brilliant. We all know that the Yamahas are not in the same ballpark at the moment. Whatever combination. I mean, Lorenzo coming in 3rd. Lorenzo badly needed that 3rd. Thinking about it now, it's like, oh, you know, besides a couple of occasions, it's been Rossi. It's been the dominant Yamaha guy so far this season. So, you know, it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. It's very disappointing for a man of his ability. But we've spoken about that before. You know, the guy I feel really bad for was Stefan Bradl. Bradl, who obviously qualified on the front row, thought, home Grand Prix, that might be able to win him on a little bit. You know, Germany playing in the World Cup later that day. May have been able to give him a little extra boost. He qualifies alright. But then, all of a sudden, you know, with about 10 minutes to go till the race start, it starts raining again, but then it dries out really quickly. So as a result, everyone's kind of like, oh, okay, what's going to happen now then? So that gets everybody talking, and then Bradl takes the gamble and basically puts slick tyres on a wet bike. And obviously they didn't, like, the bike was still set up for the rain, which apparently made the bike really unstable. And because because it had steel brakes in there, apparently he lost about 20 meters per corner of braking room. Imagine going on the racetrack and then having to brake 20 meters earlier than what you would normally do, just to compensate for the fact you have the steel brakes and they're not the titanium ones that they normally do. So, as a result, you know, kaboom. Bradl fell backwards like a stone and ended up finishing 16th out of the points, where even Danilo Petrucci got a point. It was a very entertaining start of the race, with basically like the first 5 or 6 laps, it was just basically Bradl on his own, followed by Michael Laverty and the rest of the slowpokes who kept the dry tyres on, until Marquez and then the two Marquez, Pedrosa, and then the two Yamaha started carving their way through him. Which, you know, made for entertaining watching for the first 10 laps or so of the race. And after that, they all kind of spread out a little bit, really. Marquez and Pedrosa were trading best sector times all back and forth. Lorenzo had cleared Rossi, so Rossi was just content with 4th. Great ride by Andrea Iannone to finish in 5th. The best of the rest outside of the factory runners and the big 4, which we all know and love. For him to be the best of the rest is a brilliant result, and a well-deserved career high finish. Iannone is having himself a monster season right now, and he's impressing a lot of people, which I'll get to next episode when we talk about rumours and the rumour mill and whatnot, because that makes him interesting reading and discussion. But yeah, like I said, right now it's looking like a very interesting situation back there, and Iannone is doing a brilliant job to keep the people impressed. And I know that people aren't talking about this as strongly, but it's something that definitely warrants talking about, I would say. Is this time going to be fast enough? Yes, it is. .204.6. No problems done there at all. And now we're going off to Motegi for the round of Japan. Just like that, I've now got a level 2 engine, which should be great. So, Japan. In the meantime, we've got to mention as well, and Alicia Spagro with another great ride in 6th place as well. The guys that were kind of mediocre was Cal Crutchlow, who I think came in 10th, was knocked around a bit by Dovi and then Paul Spagro at the end. Bautista, who was kind of disappointing, and Bradley Smith, who had the weekend from hell. Crashed, I think, 5 times during the weekend and eventually finished in 19th place. Just a pretty miserable weekend for Bradley all in. The guy is capable of better. And, he's one of the guys whose seat is under pressure at the moment, That's something that's definitely worth talking about, and how it's just, not a good situation right now. Yeah, these load times are a bit excessive, aren't they? I'm trying to fill time here a little bit, but... We're now at the halfway point. Marquez has a 77-point lead. I mean, barring an injury, I think this season competitively is as good as dead. And despite that, the season's had some great racing. So I guess, it's not really worth complaining. It's that whole debate about is dominance a good thing, and that's something that is definitely worth talking about, I would say. There we go. I'm gonna bring the gearing down a little bit, and hopefully that'll increase this acceleration coming out of the corners. We'll work on the suspension, and yeah, let's do this. Oh, it's a wet track as well. This should be fun. Okay. So Ferrari's back there for the San Grassini team we used to ride for. Tanucci's back there. Look, there's Livio Loy, who just got sacked by Mark VDS in Moto 3, poor fella. Really? I mean, you hire a 17-year-old, what were you expecting? I mean, seriously. I do not understand that one at all. What's Bastianini do now in 24th anyway? Oh look, there's Arthur who I know is whose cousin watches this show, apparently. I can't remember his name, but I know he comments on here now, and apparently he's Arthur cousin. So shout out to Arthur and all the guys at Mahindra. And cool that, you know, we have family of the actual riders watching. Whoops. Cut that a little bit too deep for my liking. Oh, God. Let's try again, shall we? Right, up to 17th. We've got to get past Io and Alish Mazbou coming up next. Got on the podium there in Germany. Good for him. Also, great news as well. I actually got tickets to a BT Sports show, MotoGP tonight, on August 26th down at their Stretford studio. So if anyone is, you know, MotoGP fans in London, and you wouldn't mind coming down there, oh, by the way, Marc Marquez is going to be in studio for that. If you're from London, I have 2 extra tickets available for that taping. If interested, let me know. I might be able to work something out, because like I said, I booked 3 tickets, and only myself is going that I know about, so I might have a spare ticket available, or 2. Because my brother's not interested in live TV shows for some stupid reason. But you know. If you're interested, let me know. I might be able to work something out with you. We can come in, we can talk bikes, we can talk videos, all that good stuff. Got my data back. I'm going to do quite well here, because actually I'm pretty good around Motegi. I love the technical factor in Motegi's circuit, to be honest. And I'm already up to 8th now. I've just got to chase down the big boys. Cornfile, Marquez, Rins, all those guys. Oh, Jesus. That was bad riding. And I'm being stalked by the enemy. Danny Kent is coming back for another attack. Ooh, brakes are a bit steep. Oh, jeez. Really? The weird thing is that for some reason I'm weaker in Moto 3 than I am in the big classes. You'd think you'd be slower because the bikes are more difficult, but it's actually the opposite effect. I'm actually better on the MotoGP bikes and can now handle them on realistic difficulty. In Moto 3, though, for some reason I struggle. I'm not quite sure why that is. I don't think I've even tried Moto 2 yet, so that's going to be a fun experience. When that one rolls around next season, which isn't a million miles away. Slipstreaming Danny Kent. Almost redlining it now. No, Danny, not happening. See, there's me saying I was good around there. Now it was just a horrific lap. Lord. Gotta have back-to-back 8th places. What's Jakob Cornfire doing putting in that kind of lap as well? Yeesh. There we go. Bugger off, Danny Ken. I don't need you on my arse right now. The wet track probably isn't helping here either, in all fairness. Come on, man. My Skyrun's been a bit disappointing so far, in all fairness. I don't know why the guys on medium are so good. It looks like 8th is as good as I'm going to get here, and now it looks like Danny Ken's getting closer again. I'm going to block him off here. It's probably because I just haven't played this game as much as I did 13 last year. I was, you know, practicing a lot and just generally speaking was quite good. This year, not so much. Marquez gets the win ahead of Jack Miller and Alex Rins. Fanati in 4th. I come home in 8th again. Hooray. The Lord of the Two Rings.
Our director will be taking us to Mark Marquez shortly to watch the celebrations on the podium. But first, let's quickly check out the final position.
Yay for Marquez. Because we've never seen a Marquez win in this sport before. Ever. Get another 6,000 fans. I need more than that for next season. Jeez. Okay. That'll just about do it for this episode. I've been Harrison101. Thank you very much for watching. And just like that, we have a new world champion. Tito Rabat wins the Moto2 World Championship. Wholly surprising. We'll be talking more about that one in the next episode. Until then, I've been Harrison101. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll catch you guys next time. Sayonara.